Welcome to Tungal Online Classes. In previous video, we have discussed the concept of Bernoulli's principle and its application. What is the statement of the Bernoulli's principle here? It is a sum of pressure energy, kinetic energy and potential energy per unit volume is always constant for an ideal fluid having a streamline flow. Right. So, this is a statement of the Bernoulli's principle. Okay, see here, it is a sum of pressure energy P plus kinetic energy plus potential energy per unit volume that is equal to constant. And here, from this principle, the pressure is inversely proportional to the velocity. The pressure is inversely proportional to the velocity. If the velocity of the fluid or the gas is more, in that case the pressure at that point is less, right? So, in case if the velocity of the fluid or the gas at that point is more, means in that case the pressure here, if the velocity is decreases, the pressure at that point is increases, right? So, here the pressure is inversely proportional to the velocity. If the velocity increases, at that point pressure is decreases. If velocity is decreases, the pressure is increases at that point, right? So, after that, the first application is a Venturi meter. So, Venturi meter, it is used to measure the rate of flow of fluid or the rate of flow of liquid through the pipe, right? Okay, the next application is that is speed of efflux. The next application is the speed of efflux or Torricelli law. Okay, see here, in this case we are going to consider a tank. So, consider this is a tank. The tank is filled with some liquid. The tank is filled with some liquid of density rho, right? Here, let rho be the density of a liquid inside the tank, right? So, after that, let h be the height of the liquid. Let h1 be the height of the liquid from the bottom surface of the tank to the surface of the liquid, right? Here h1 indicates that is the height of the liquid inside the tank from the bottom surface of a tank to the surface. So, after that, there is a hole at this point, right? There is a hole in a tank at this point at a height h2, at a height h2 from the bottom surface of the tank to the hole, right? So, in this case there is a hole in the tank, means in that case the liquid is emerges from this hole with some speed, that is V2. So, that is known as the speed of efflux, that is known as the speed of efflux. Okay, so there is a hole in a tank, in that case the liquid is exit from that hole with some velocity or with some speed. So, that is known as the speed of efflux. So, in this case we are going to find out what is the expression to calculate the speed of a efflux, right? Okay, the first one, here we are consider the 2 point. Consider this is the first point A on the surface of the liquid and this is the second point, that is B, right? Here we are going to apply the Bernoulli's principle at point A and at point B. The first one at point A, the first one at point A, right? So, first one we are going to find out what is the pressure exerting at a point A. So, in this case the atmosphere exerting some amount of pressure on the A point. So, that is known as the atmospheric pressure, that is P suffix A. So, in this case the P1 that is equal to P suffix A. And here this molecule is at rest, means this molecule is at rest means the velocity of this molecule, that is V1 is equal to 0. After that, the height of this molecule from the bottom surface of the tank, that is h1 is equal to h1, otherwise consider this is h is equal to h1, right? Next, apply the Bernoulli's principle. So, already we know the expression P plus 1 by 2 rho V square plus rho GH is equal to constant. Okay, see here the P value is, that is atmospheric pressure P suffix A plus 1 by 2 rho V1 square value is 0 plus rho GH1 is equal to constant, right? Okay, so next PA plus rho gh1 is equal to constant. So this is our equation number 1. This is our equation number 1. And the next one, at point B, we are going to apply the Bernoulli's principle at point B, right? Okay, see here, at the point B, here is also atmosphere exerting the pressure, that is P2 is equal to P suffix A, P2 is equal to P suffix A. So after that, here that fluid or the liquid, it emerges with some speed, that is V2, right? So here velocity, that is equal to V2, that is V2 is equal to V2. So after that, height is, that is h2, h value is, that is h2. Okay, substitute all the values in that expression, then pressure, that is Pa plus 1 by 2 rho V2 square plus rho gh2, that is equal to constant, right? This is our equation number 2, right? Okay, see here, at point A, here the pressure at this point is, that is Pa, the velocity at point A is, that is 0, and the height is, that is h1. Substitute all this value in this expression, you will get the first equation, Pa plus rho gh1 is equal to constant. After that, at point B, the pressure at that point is, that is Pa, and the velocity or the speed of the particle at that point is V2, and height is, that is h2. So this is equation 1 and this is equation number 2. So next one, we are going to equate the equation number 1 and equation number 2. Equate equation number 1 and equation number 2. So what is the equation number 1 here? That is P suffix A rho g h1, that is equal to, here P suffix A plus 1 by 2 rho V2 square plus rho gh2, right? So in this case, atmospheric pressure both are get cancelled. The remaining is rho gh1 is equal to 1 by 2 rho V2 square plus rho gh2. So here we want the V2 value. So simplify this equation. Take this term this side, so that is rho g h1 minus rho g h2, that is equal to 1 by 2 rho V2 square, 1 by 2 rho V2 square. So in this case, take rho g common, the remaining is h1 minus h2, the remaining is h1 minus h2, that is equal to 1 by 2 rho into V2 square, 1 by 2 rho into V2 square. Here rho get cancelled. Here V2 square is equal to V2 square, that is equal to 2 into G bracket of H1 minus H2. So then what is the value of H1 minus H2 here? So this is the H1 value and this is H2 value. So H1 minus H2 means the height from the surface of the liquid up to the hole. So this is H, right? So here H1 minus H2, that is equal to H. Here H means that is the height of the liquid from surface of a liquid up to the hole, right? So then we are replaced by H1 minus H2 is equal to H. So then this equation becomes 2GH. So from this one, V2 is equal to, that is under root of 2GH. V2 is equal to, that is under root of 2GH. So this is the speed of efflux value, or the speed of a liquid, it emerges from the hole. So that is V2 is equal to under root of 2GH, right? It is also very simple here. So initially we are consider a tank. It is filled with some liquid of a density, that is rho. Let H1 and H2 be the height of the liquid from the bottom surface of a tank to the surface of a liquid, and bottom surface of a liquid up to the hole, right? So after that, here the difference of H1 minus H2, that gives the height of the liquid from the surface of the liquid to the up to hole, right? Here there is a hole at this point, means in that case the liquid, it emerges with some velocity or some speed, so that is known as the speed of efflux. Here we are going to find out what is the V2 value. So first one, we are consider the 2 point, A point and the B point, right? Here we are applying the Bernoulli's principle at A point and B point. Here the pressure at A point is PA, that is atmospheric pressure. So in this case, this point is at rest. So then V is equal to 0. Then H value is H1. Substitute all the values, you will get the final result. PA plus rho GH1 is equal to constant. That is our equation number 1. Similarly, we are going to apply the Bernoulli's principle at point B. Here the pressure at point B is PA, velocity is that is V2, height is H2. So substitute, you will get the equation number 2. So next, equating the equation number 1 and 2, simplify this one, we will get the final result is V2 is equal to, that is under root of 2GH. That is V2 is equal to under root of 2GH. Okay, Torricelli law, it states that the difference in the level of upper surface of a liquid up to the hole is h, then the liquid emerges from the hole with a speed that is under root of 2gh. So this is a statement of a Torricelli law. So what is the statement here? It states that the difference in the level of a liquid from the upper surface of a tank up to the hole is h, then the liquid emerges from the hole with a speed that is under root of 2gh. So this is a statement of a Torricelli law. The next application of a Bernoulli's theorem, one is a Bunsen burner and the next one is a lift of an airfoil, right? Okay, see here, this is a Bunsen burner here. This Bunsen burner is consist of a vertical pipe and it consists of 2 holes, right? So after that, this is the nozzle, this one is a nozzle, right? Okay, see here, in Bunsen burner it consists of a vertical pipe and this is a nozzle, and these two are the side holes in the vertical pipe. Okay, see here, when the gas is passing through this nozzle, with a high speed, in that case the pressure inside the vertical pipe is decreases, right? Okay, see here, when the gas is passes through this nozzle with a high speed, in that case the pressure inside the vertical pipe is decreases. So therefore, in that case the air from outside rushes inside the burner through the side holes, right? So here, if the pressure inside the vertical pipe is decreases, in that case the air which is rushes inside the vertical pipe through the side hole, the mixture of this gas and the air which burns at the top of the burner. So this is the application of a Bernoulli's theorem. Okay, see here, in this case when the gas is exit from this nozzle with a high speed, if the speed of the liquid is very high, right? So the speed of the gas is very high, in that case the pressure at that point is decreases. From the Bernoulli's principle, P is inversely proportional to the velocity. If the velocity is more, at that point the pressure is decreased. Here the velocity of the gas is more inside the vertical pipe, so then the pressure inside the vertical pipe is decreased, right? So in that case the atmospheric pressure, it is more comparing to the pressure inside the vertical pipe. So that's why the pressure or the air, it is rushes into the vertical pipe through the side holes of the Bunsen burner. The mixture of these two, it burns at the top of the burner. So this is the application of a Bernoulli's principle. The next application is lift of an airfoil or aeroplane wing. Okay, see here, the shape of the aeroplane wing or airfoil, so the slightly convex in upwards, and slightly concave in a downwards, Okay, see here, when the air, it is passes over this upper surface of a airfoil, so here the speed of the air is maximum at this point. If the speed is more, in that case the pressure at that point is less, because according to the principle of Bernoulli's theorem, P is inversely proportional to V. In this case, the velocity of the air on the upper surface of the aeroplane wing is maximum. If the velocity is maximum at that point, in that case the pressure at that point is less. The pressure at that point is less. At the same time, the air at the below the aeroplane wing, the speed of the air below the aeroplane wing is less comparing to the upper surface. So here the pressure is inversely proportional to V. So here the velocity of the air at the lower surface of this wing is less. So in that case the pressure at this point is more. So from this one, the pressure below the airfoil, it is more comparing to the pressure upside of this airfoil, so that is minimum. So right, in this case the difference in their pressure, the difference in the pressure that gives the additional thrust or additional force to lift an airfoil or lift an aeroplane, right? Okay, so here this is the last application of the Bernoulli's theorem. So that is the lift of an airfoil. So this is the shape of the aeroplane wing, right? So the upper surface is look like a slightly convex and the lower surface of this wings looks like a slightly concave, right? So here the velocity of the air at upper surface is maximum. If the velocity is maximum, in that case the pressure at this point is minimum. So at the same time, the velocity of the liquid at the below the aeroplane wing, so it is less. If it is less means the pressure at that point is more, because the pressure is inversely proportional to velocity. Here the velocity is less, in that case the pressure at that point is more. So the difference in the pressure, the pressure below the aeroplane wing is more, the pressure above the aeroplane wing is small. So the difference in the pressure that gives additional force or additional thrust to lift an aeroplane. The next concept is, that is viscosity. That is viscosity. Okay, see here we have learnt that a force of friction comes into play when one solid body slides over the another solid body. For example, consider this is one solid body and this another solid body. When one solid body slides over the another solid body, in that case the force of friction comes into play between these two bodies. In similar manner, when a layer of liquid slides over the another layer of a liquid, the force of friction between these two layers, so that is known as the viscous force. Okay, so here in similar manner, when a layer of a liquid slides over a layer of another liquid, the force of friction between these two layers, so that is known as the viscous force, right? Okay, so here the general example. So consider this is a horizontal surface. If the liquid is flows on a horizontal surface in a different layers, right? It forms the different layers. So in that case we are consider this is first layer, second layer, third layer and the fourth layer, right? So in this case the first layer it is moving with the maximum speed comparing to the second layer, and the second layer it is moving the maximum speed comparing to the third layer, right? Similarly, the third layer it is moving with the maximum speed comparing to the fourth layer, right? So here consider this is the first layer and this is the intersection between the first layer and the second layer. Here the first layer it is moving with the maximum speed. For example, we are consider that the speed is 80 meter per second. For second layer it is moving the speed of that is 40 meter per second. In that case, the second layer which opposes the first layer of the liquid, right? So the second layer it opposes the first layer of the liquid. So that force is known as the viscous force, right? So then what is the definition of a viscosity here? It is the property of the liquid by virtue of which it opposes the relative motion between the different layers of the liquid. So that is known as the viscosity. So what is the definition here? It is the property of the liquid by virtue of which it opposes the relative motion between the different layers of the liquid. So that is known as the viscosity. So in this case, the first layer it is moving with the 80 meter per second and second layer it is moving with the 40 meter per second. In that case, the first layer and second layer both are opposes, right? The opposing the force, that force is known as the viscous force. Okay, so here you will write the definition here. It is the property, it is the properties of the liquid properties of the liquid by virtue of which it opposes the relative motion between different layers of the liquid. This is the definition of a viscosity. So it is the property of the liquid by virtue of which it opposes the relative motion between the different layers of the liquid. So that is known as the viscosity. Okay, see here, in this case we are consider this is the horizontal surface. A liquid, it is flow on a horizontal surface in the form of a different layers, right? So these are the different layers of the liquid, right? So in this case we are consider the two layers. So the first layer is AB, it is moving with a speed that is V plus dV. And we are consider the one more layer that is CD, and it is moving with a speed of that is V, right? And the height of this layer from the horizontal surface is that is x distance from the xd and x plus dx, that is the distance of the AB layer from the horizontal surface. Okay, so here in this case the liquid, it is flow on a horizontal surface in the form of different layers. So here we are consider the two layer AB and the CD. The CD layer is moving with the speed that is V, and the AB layer is moving with the speed of V plus dV. And the height of the CD layer, the height from the horizontal surface is x, and the AB layer, the height from the horizontal surface is x plus dx. So in this case already we know that the viscosity means that is a force which opposes the relative motion between the two layers. So in this case the viscous force, it is acting in this direction. The viscous force is acting in this direction. The liquid, it is flowing in this direction. Okay, see here, the viscous force is directly depending on the area. The viscous force, it is directly depending on area, and this viscous force, it is also directly depending on velocity gradient. So that is dV by dx. So then what do you mean by the velocity gradient? So velocity gradient means the velocity that changes with respect to the distance, the rate of change of velocity with respect to the distance. So that is known as the velocity gradient. Okay, so here the viscous force is depends on the area of a cross section, and the viscous force is depends on the velocity gradient. So velocity gradient means that velocity changes with respect to the distance. So from these two relation, F is directly proportional to area into dV by dx. To remove this proportionality constant, we use the extra term. So that is F that is equal to minus eta area into dV by dx. So this is the viscous force here, that is F is equal to minus eta area into dV by dx. So here F indicates that is a viscous force, and eta indicates that is a coefficient of a viscosity. Eta indicates that coefficient of viscosity, and A indicates that area, dV by dx indicates that is the velocity gradient. And here this negative sign indicates that this viscous force, it is acting in opposite direction to the direction of a flow of liquid. Okay, so here this negative sign, it indicates that the viscous force, it is acting in opposite direction to the direction of a flow of a liquid. So next one, from this relation we want eta value. So then eta is equal to here we are consider the magnitude value, that is eta is equal to F divided by area into dV by dx, right? So this expression we are used to find out the coefficient of friction. So here f is equal to minus eta into area dv by dx. We are considered, after that we are considered the magnitude of this one. Magnitude means it becomes positive, then f is equal to eta into area into dv by dx. So then eta is equal to f divided by a bracket of dv by dx. So then what is the SI unit and what is the CGS unit of this eta, right? See here, SI unit of coefficient of viscosity, that is eta is okay. See here, so already we know that the SI unit of force is Newton, SI unit of area is meter square. Then what is the SI unit of dv by dx? Okay, see here, dv by dx. So dv by dx, here dv indicates that the change in velocity with respect to the change in distance. Velocity SI unit is meter per second and the unit of distance is meter get cancelled per second. Okay, see here, the SI unit of coefficient of viscosity is, that is, first one, the SI unit of force is Newton and the SI unit of area is meter square and the SI unit of dv by dx, that is meter per second divided by meter. Here meter get cancelled. The SI unit is Newton per meter square second, right? Okay, see here, the SI unit of eta is, that is Newton per meter square second, right? Okay, the Newton per meter square is nothing but that is Pascal second. This is another unit of coefficient of viscosity. So that is the SI unit of coefficient of viscosity is Newton per meter square second or Newton per meter square second or Pascal second The next one, CGS unit of coefficient of viscosity, that is dyne per centimeter square second. The next one, dimension formula for coefficient of viscosity. Okay, see here the force dimension formula is ml t to the power is minus 2, right? Area is, that is L square, and dv by dx, dv means that is velocity, dimension formula is L t to the power of minus 1, and distance, so that is L get cancelled, the remaining is L t to the power is minus 2 divided by L square t to the power is minus 1. So take this term upside, so then it becomes L to the power is minus 1, t to the power is minus 1. Then the dimension formula for coefficient of viscosity is, that is L to the power is minus 1, t to the power is minus 1. So this is the dimension formula for coefficient of viscosity, right? The next one, coefficient of viscosity, it is increases, coefficient of viscosity, it is increases with a decrease in temperature, for liquids, right? So this is for liquids. If the coefficient of viscosity increases with a decreasing temperature for liquids, and the next one, if the coefficient of viscosity, it is increases with increasing temperature for gas, right? So for liquid, the coefficient of viscosity increases with a decreasing temperature. This is for liquid. For gas, if the coefficient of viscosity, it is increases with the increasing temperature. So this is about the viscosity. So first one, what is the definition of viscosity? So it is a property of the liquid by virtue of which it opposes the relative motion between the different layers of the liquid. So here we are consider, if the liquid is flow on a horizontal surface, it is formed in the form of different layers are moving to different velocity. Here we are consider the two layer AB and the CD. That is, AB layer it is moving at the speed of V plus dV, and CD layer it is moving at the speed of V, and the height of the AB layer and the CD layer from the horizontal surface is x plus dx and the x. Okay, see here, the viscous force is always acting in opposite direction to the direction of a flow of a liquid, right? Okay, then viscous force is directly depending on the area and the viscous force is directly depending on the velocity gradient. From these two relation, F is directly proportional to area into dV by dx. To remove this proportionality constant, we use the extra term, that is the coefficient of a viscosity, right? So it is noted by eta. Here F is equal to minus eta into area into dV by dx. Here F indicates our viscous force, coefficient of viscosity, and A indicates that area, dV by dx indicates that is the velocity gradient. So velocity gradient means velocity that changes with respect to the distance, velocity that changes with respect to the distance. And here this negative sign indicates that, viscous force is always acting in opposite direction to the direction of flow of fluid or liquid, right? Eta is equal to F divided by A into dV by dx. This expression we are used to find out the coefficient of a viscosity. And the next one, the SI unit of a coefficient of viscosity is Newton per meter square second or Pascal second. And the CGS unit of coefficient of viscosity is Dyne per centimeter square second, and the dimension formula is m L to the power is minus 1, T to the power is minus 1. So the next point, if the coefficient of viscosity value increases with decrease in temperature for liquid, if the coefficient of viscosity value increases with an increase in temperature for gas. The next one, Stokes law. Stokes shows that the viscous force F is acting on a small sphere of a radius r, moving with a uniform velocity through a medium of a coefficient of viscosity, that is eta, is given by, so that force is, okay, see here, that force is F is equal to, that is 6 pi radius r into terminal velocity or uniform velocity into coefficient of a friction. Okay, see here, Stokes shows that the viscous force acting on a small sphere of radius r, moving with a uniform velocity or terminal velocity through a medium of a coefficient of viscosity is eta, is given by. Okay, see here, Stokes shows that the viscous force acting on a small sphere of radius r, moving the uniform velocity, that is V suffix t, through a medium of a coefficient of viscosity eta is given by, that is F is equal to 6 pi r V suffix t into eta. Here F indicates that the viscous force acting on the small sphere, and here 6 pi is a constant term, and r indicates that is the radius of a small sphere, and here V suffix t indicates that is the terminal velocity or uniform velocity. So terminal velocity means the velocity of the particle at any point is the same, so that is known as the terminal velocity, and here eta indicates that is a coefficient of viscosity. So that is a coefficient of viscosity. Okay, see here, so consider this is a cylinder, So in this cylinder we are filled with some liquid of density, that is rho. The density of the liquid, that is rho. So in this case we are drop a small sphere of a radius r. Inside this liquid. In that case, initially that small sphere, it is moving the maximum speed. Initially this small sphere, it is moving the maximum speed. So thereafter, after some distance, So it attains a terminal velocity. It attains a terminal velocity means from this point to up to this point, that is moving with a uniform velocity, or the velocity of this body at any point is same from this point to this point. Okay. See here, when this viscous force is balanced by the apparent weight of this body, so then only it attains the terminal velocity. Okay, see here, so in this case we are consider a cylinder, and that cylinder is filled with some liquid of a density that is rho. So afterwards we drop a small sphere of radius r. So initially that sphere is moving with the maximum speed, thereafter it is moving with a uniform velocity, or it attains the terminal velocity. So when the viscous force is balanced by the apparent weight of this body, so then this body attains the terminal velocity. Okay, then next we are going to find out the apparent weight of the body. Apparent weight of the body. So then the apparent weight of the body, that is equal to weight of the small spherical body, minus weight of the liquid displaced, Okay, see here, then how to find out the apparent weight of the body? So apparent weight of the body, that is equal to weight of the small spherical body minus weight of the liquid displaced, Okay, see here, the apparent weight is equal to that is equal to here the weight of the small spherical body. So weight is nothing but mass into acceleration due to gravity. So that is mass into acceleration due to gravity minus weight of the liquid displaced. So that is m dash into g. Here m indicates that is the mass of a spherical body, and m dash indicates that the mass of the liquid displaced. So in this case we are consider this is a spherical body. Spherical body means with the help of a density, that is mass per unit volume. So then mass of the solid body, that is equal to density into volume. So then what is the formula we are used to find out the volume of the sphere? So that is 4 by 3 pi r cube. So this is the mass of the spherical body. So what is the mass of a spherical body here? That is mass is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube into density. So this is the mass of the spherical body. Similarly, we are going to find out the mass of the liquid displaced, right? So if this is the volume of that solid body, the same volume of the liquid is also displaced. So then the mass of the liquid displaced, so that is m dash is equal to 4 by 3 pi into r cube into density sigma. In this case, we are using rho is the density of the solid body, and sigma indicates that the density of the liquid. Here the rho is the density of the solid body, that is small spherical body, and sigma indicates that is the density of the liquid. Then substitute m and m dash value in this equation. So here we will write AP as the apparent weight of the body, that is equal to, what is the m value here? That is 4 by 3 pi r cube into density into acceleration due to gravity, minus m dash value is, that is 4 by 3 pi into r cube into density of the liquid. Here sigma indicates the density of a liquid, and rho indicates the density of a solid body. So in this case, take 4 by 3 pi r cube, and g is a constant term. So this is 4 by 3 pi r cube into g bracket, that is rho minus sigma. So this is the apparent weight of the solid body. This is apparent weight of the body. So that is apparent weight is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube into g bracket of rho minus sigma. Okay. The next, what is the condition here when the body is attaining the terminal velocity or when the body is moving the uniform velocity, when the viscous force is balanced by the apparent weight of the body, when the viscous force is balanced by the apparent weight of the body. So this is a viscous force, right? The equation number 1 indicates that the viscous force, and this equation number 2, it indicates that the apparent weight of the body, right? So when these two are balanced, so then only that body is attaining the terminal velocity. Okay, the next one, we are going to equate these two equations. We are going to equate the equation number 1 and the equation number 2, right? Okay, the equation number 1 value is, that is equation number 1, that is equal to equation number 2. So the equation number 1 is, that is 6 pi r v suffix t into eta, that is equal to, here the equation number 2 is, that is 4 by 3 pi r cube into acceleration due to gravity bracket of rho minus sigma. So in this case 1 pi get cancelled, 1r get cancelled. What are the remaining terms here? That is 6 v suffix t into eta is equal to 4 by 3 r square into g bracket of rho minus sigma. Okay, see here, from this relation we want v suffix t value, that is the terminal velocity. Terminal velocity is equal to 4 by 3 r square into acceleration due to gravity bracket of rho minus sigma whole divided by 6 into eta. 6 into eta. So here this is 2 2s are 2 3s are. So then the remaining expression is, that is 2 by 9 r square into acceleration due to gravity bracket of rho minus sigma divided by eta. So this expression we are used to find out the terminal speed. So what is the expression here? That is 2 by 9 r square into g bracket of rho minus sigma whole divided by eta, right? So this expression we are used to find out the terminal velocity, right? Okay, the next one, the terminal velocity of the body, it depends on, terminal velocity of the body, it depends on, okay, see here, the terminal velocity, it depends on the radius of the spherical body, the radius of a spherical body, and it depends on the density of the solid body, and it depends on the density of the liquid, and here it also depends on the coefficient of viscosity. Okay, see here, the terminal velocity, it depends on the radius of a small spherical body and the density of the solid body and the density of the liquid, and it also depends on the coefficient of viscosity of the fluids, right? So this is about the Stokes law. So what is the first one here? The Stokes shows that the viscous force acting on a small sphere of a radius r moving the uniform velocity through a medium of a coefficient of viscosity, so that is eta, is given by F is equal to 6 pi r into v suffix t into n. This is our equation number 1. So when a solid body is dropped into a medium or in a liquid, so initially that solid body is moving the maximum speed, thereafter it attains the terminal velocity. When that body is at a terminal velocity, when the viscous force is balanced by the apparent weight of the body, then that body attains the terminal velocity. So then we are going to find the apparent weight of the body. The apparent weight of the body, that is equal to weight of the small spherical body minus weight of the liquid displaced, right? So then how to find out the weight of the solid body here? Already we know the formula. The weight is nothing but mass into acceleration due to gravity, mass of the solid body into acceleration due to gravity minus mass of the liquid displaced into acceleration due to gravity. See here, this is a small spherical body, so the volume of this small spherical body is 4 by 3 pi r cube, then mass is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube into rho. Rho indicates that is the density of the solid body. Similarly, m dash is equal to 4 by 3 pi into r cube into sigma. Here sigma indicates that is the density of the liquid. So then substitute these two values in this equation, then apparent weight of the body, that is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube into g bracket of rho minus sigma. So here the condition is the viscous force is balanced by the apparent weight, then only that body attains the terminal velocity. So we are equating equation number 1 and equation number 2. Simplify, we will get the final expression is, that is V sufficient is equal to 2 by 9 r square into g bracket of rho minus sigma whole divided by eta. And here the terminal speed, it directly depends on the radius of a spherical body and depends on the density of the body and depends on the density of the liquid, and it also depends on the coefficient of viscosity value of that fluid. Thank you.